So here we are in Fusion, and we've got a grid. This is a working area, a drawing area. Up in the top left-hand corner, we've got a little grid symbol like so, and that's our opens up what's called our data panel. In our data panel, we've got a history of all the projects we've done, so our various folders and things like that, different projects. You're going to need to click on New Project, and you're going to use a naming convention. So please, please, please put your name. So in my case, John Wilson, and then I'm going to call this Y10 candle shade. And what I would suggest you do is, or if, yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. Y10 candle shade, and click enter. Okay. And it's really important, if you need to have a bit of a system or a method here, otherwise things will get in a sort of right muddle, okay? So there's our there's our project. If we open that or click on that, there's our saved items. Well, we haven't done anything, so obviously there is no saved item at the moment. So that leads us on to our next thing, which is as soon as you start working, save your drawing before you do anything. Well, there's nothing to save, but the point is, once you've saved it, you can just keep clicking that save button, and you're not going to lose 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour's work, whatever happens should something go wrong. Okay, so again, please give it a naming convention. So your name, John Wilson, Y10, because it's year 10. And this one is going to be our MDF piece. So I'm going to call this MDF base. It's not so much a base because it sticks sort of closer to the top, but we'll call it an MDF base. And I click save there. And what you'll see happen is as soon as we start saving, we're going to get a little thumbnail appear here. But our piece of work is now named. And every few minutes, I'm just going to come up to the top and click on that little floppy disk icon, which you guys probably aren't too familiar with because it's too old for you. But that's our simple save button. Okay, so to start drawing, I am going to close that data panel for the moment, just so I've got as much space as I possibly can have. I want to, expand the window as far as you can. Make sure that, you've got as much space to see things as possible. Down the left-hand side, we've got our browser. This is a really important thing, okay, and getting used to what is appearing there and what is showing up as we add. As we do more drawing, there are going to be more things appearing here, sketches and bodies, and we'll talk about sketches and bodies as we go along. At the moment, it's telling you there's a drawing called John Wilson Year 10 MDF Base version 1, which is good. These tools at the top are our drawing tools. I mean, often we'll start with these sketch tools, and the reason for that is because in Fusion we normally start with a sketch, which is just a line drawing. Okay, so the first thing we're doing, our MDF base is a square, rectangle. Okay, so you'll notice many of these tools, or some of these tools, have hotkeys. We could just press R and we'd go straight to a 2-point rectangle. There are other rectangle options. Again, we'll get more familiar with these as we go along. But I'm going to start with a 2-point rectangle. As soon as I select a tool, you'll notice that this appears in the middle. These are what are known as planes, okay? Now, a plane is, if you want to think of it, an imaginary surface or piece of paper that you are drawing on. You have to draw somewhere in virtual space, if you like, and these are our planes, sometimes known as work planes. We've got a front and a side view here, and we've also got a plan view. And it is helpful to try and think which is going to be the best one to use for your particular type of drawing. So on our MDF base, we're going to click a plan view. And as soon as I click on that, you'll notice that the grid sort of rotates around, so we're looking straight at it. With 2 fingers on your mouse pad, you ought to be able to sort of pan and move around like so. And with 2 fingers opening and closing, pinching, you should be able to zoom. And those are really zooming and panning are really important for you. It's saying to us place the first corner, and our best bet is to place the first corner on that center point where the 2 axes cross. Okay, So I'm going to click there, and then just moving my finger around the trackpad, I can change the size of that. Okay, now I could click it out to a size and let it snap to the grid. You'll notice that it's snapping when it's on a grid point. Okay, by snapping I mean jumping to it. But in this particular case, I don't want to do that. I want to get into the habit of typing in my dimensions. Okay, so I'm going to type into, you'll notice one of the boxes is blue, highlighted blue. I'm going to type in there 105, and then I'm going to press the tab key, and you'll notice the other blue box highlights, and then I can type 105 into that. As soon as I've done that, I've got a square. Okay, so far so good. That square is what's known as a sketch. If I come down to the bottom here and I choose my orbit tool, you can see it's not really an object yet, it's just a line square. So in order to go from a sketch, and at this point it's probably worth just having a look up at our browser bar, and you'll notice this sketch has now been added to what we've done. That wasn't there a couple of minutes ago, we just had those first four. When we do the next action, we're going to have something else add to our browser bar. Okay, so I'm going to press escape. You'll notice I'm in orbit view at the moment. So I'm going to press escape. Then I'm going to press E, and E extrudes. When I move that pointer onto there, the surface that I'm over highlights. And when I click, I get a little arrow appearing there and a box asking me for the height to extrude. And I'm going to say 3 because it's 3 millimeters thick. And then I'm going to press either OK there or click return on my keyboard. And my sketch, now look, I've now got a sketch and I've got something called a body. A body is my 3-dimensional view. And if I now look at that, it's gone from being just a paper-thin piece, a paper-thin square, which is my sketch, to now it's got a thickness of 3 millimeters and it's what's known as a body. At that point, we're going to click Save. And you don't need to change the name here. You can just click OK. And if I look into my data panel at the top, what should happen, he says, this is not looking good, is that should, when it's saved, appear there. Unless, of course, I've accidentally saved it in the wrong place, which is possible. Let's have a look and see where I've been saving it to. Oh yes, and I've very cleverly been managing to save it to the wrong place. So let's come down here and let's go find that folder that I just had, which is Year 10 Candle Shade, that one there, and I'm going to stick it in there instead. Okay, so just check it is actually going to the right place, and there you go, there's the thumbnail showing that in that folder I've saved that drawing. Okay, so we're going to stop there and then we'll look at drawing up the side.